Well, hey, you guys. So if you've ever been part of a family business, you know that disagreements happen. But that's what keeps things interesting. And here at Ramsey Solutions, I work with some of my family, including my dad. So I'm going to bring you all along on a couple of clips of The Ramsey Show where my dad and I don't exactly align. And stick around to watch the tea unfold and hear my honest reactions looking back on those clips. And if you haven't already, make sure to subscribe to this channel so you never miss fun episodes like this one. All right, so before we dive in here's a little bit of context for any of my friends who might be newer to this channel. So I host a show called The Ramsey Show. For a long time, it was the Dave Ramsey Show because it was the show my dad started like 25 years ago. And so now there's different co-hosts on it. And within that show, it's part of Ramsey Solutions, which is a bigger company where he's the CEO and all of it. So there's a lot of working dynamics between me and my dad. And I love it. It is so fun. But let's be honest, you disagree with your parents, time and time again. So that plays out sometimes in a national way, but that's what makes it fun. Okay, so the first clip that we're going to watch where Dave and I kind of disagree is we're actually reacting to a call that I got on another show, another episode of The Ramsey Show when I was hosting with Ken Coleman. So a little spoiler alert, it's about T Swift, and it may not go exactly how you think, so check it out.
My daughter is 22, and she just graduated from college with some student loan debt. Mm-hmm. And about a year ago, she was able to get on the pre-sale and buy 3 tickets for her, my older daughter, and myself to go to a Taylor Swift concert in Indianapolis. We got them for like $209 a piece. So now I'm seeing these resale prices.
It's crazy. It's crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And so I told her, why don't we sell those tickets and you can knock down so much of your student loan that you'd be so far ahead. She says, absolutely, it's non-negotiable. It's a bucket list item. She's like, probably you, Rachel, a Swiftie, and this is,
And it's her money, right?
No, it was my money.
What do you think you could make on these tickets?
I'm thinking it would average out between $3-4 grand
a ticket.
Easy.
Per ticket. I get it. So her student loan debt is $24,000,
and she could knock it in half.
And that's what you would want to put the money towards.
Absolutely, 100% of it would go to there.
Would you be putting $9,000+ towards her student loan if you hadn't bought these tickets?
I would not.
I wouldn't resell these tickets. Here's the deal, Jill. You weren't planning to cut a check for $9,500 to put on your daughter's student loan, ever.
I was not.
So my whole point is
this
that
is like a windfall, right? If $9,500 fell into my lap, I might do that.
I get it, but this is your daughter's, and it's a once in a lifetime concert.
Oh yeah,
I agree.
You go, Jill. Go to the concert.
You weren't going to do this anyway, and I think your daughter said absolutely no way, and I think it creates an unnecessary tension. She's 22. She needs to pay the thing off herself anyway. There's a lot of reasons. I want our audience to know I'm not just – I just think when I look at something like this is about the emotional, not the financial.
Rachel, I fully expected you to be a Swiftie. I'm very disappointed in Ken. Anything having to do with Disney or Taylor Swift, Rachel's completely on board. So
I was shocked that Ken was like,
he just jumped in there as a Swiftie.
If you had a trip booked with Daniel and his son Eli, you got, because this is what it was for her daughter, right? A trip booked, and you had planned it out. Daniel had student loans. We can go here for a second. Okay, Daniel had student loans. No, listen, and you could sell the trip for 3 times from what you bought it for. Would you do that and put it towards Daniel's loans?
The nuance in the call that does change the answer for me.
Okay,
is she gave her daughter a gift of some money, $600
of tickets.
No, she gave her daughter $600, and the daughter bought the tickets with it.
Yeah, for the tickets, though. Yeah.
She gave her a gift. So she's no longer in control of this.
Oh, I hear what you're saying. Yes.
So the mom is not in control. The daughter is in control of it.
Correct.
Now, and she bought tickets. Now, if the daughter called me and said, my mom gave me these tickets, gave me $600 to buy these tickets, and I can sell them for $12,000, I would ask her, if you had $12,000 sitting in the middle of the table and you didn't have Taylor Swift tickets, would you put it on your student loans or would you put it on the things? And I would tell the daughter to sell the tickets, but I'm not going to tell the mom to renege on a gift.
Yes. Okay, that makes sense.
Okay?
Yep, that's kind of what our train of thought was.
That's a control issue. When you give someone a gift and then you try to take it back, that's not a gift.
The memories are forever.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are.
I remember. I don't remember a lot of the concerts I went to.
I went to. Well, that's for other reasons. For other reasons, Dave.
No, just because it was a long time ago. I can't even tell you all the concerts I didn't go to. One way you make decisions is if I had that amount of money in the middle of the table, if I have $24,000 in student loan debt, and I wake up and there's $12,000 laying in the middle of my kitchen table, do I go buy Taylor Swift concerts or put it on my student loan? You put it on your student loan. It's a no-brainer for me. Now, that's talking to the daughter, but I'm never going to tell the mom to go back. So I'm not really going to say your all's advice was wrong.
Yep.
But it's a great discussion, particularly because we get to discover that, to my great disappointment, Ken Coleman is a Swiftie.
Okay, yeah, so Dave's a little bit of a Debbie Downer. You'd sell the tickets and pay off debt. Boo. Oh, man. Yeah, no, I'm a little bit more on the experience side of life. Now, I do agree with him. If you have amount of money, what do you do with that? What's the wisest thing to do with it, right? And if you're deeply in debt and all of that, yes, it's to get out. Because you do think how many hours it would take to get $10,000 to $12,000, right? I mean, like, it would be a lot of effort on the other end of it if you decide to go to the concert. But they are gifts from her mom, and I would go all day long. All day long. So good. All right. So the next clip where we kind of, disagree with is a car question, actually. And this topic came up a lot in really probably the last 2 years. If you remember when the value of used cars went crazy up because of what was going on with supply and demand and COVID and like that whole thing, when all of the distribution around the world kind of halted. It was just wild to see that there were no new cars, and used cars, their value went up crazy. So we're going to dive into that in just a second. But first, I do want to tell you about one of our sponsors, Delete Me. You guys, scammers are everywhere these days. I mean, when you look on the internet, the amount of information that you put out, it may not even realize it, can get bought and sold. And I can tell you, I have fallen a time or two for an old scam, and it's not fun, okay? And listen, no shame if you've been there too. It happens to the best of us. But that is why I recommend and use Delete Me. It gives me so much peace of mind. And Delete Me finds and removes your personal data like your home address, your phone number, and more from hundreds of data broker websites, helping protect you from spammers, scammers, and online thieves. And will save you a ton of time and money. I'm telling you guys, they are amazing. So make sure to check them out and go to joindeleteme.com/Rachel for 20% off. So that's joindeleteme.com/Rachel. All right, so the car clip that, we kind of went a little toe-to-toe on is a good one. So check this one out.
Are we in a situation where it might be acceptable to buy new if you've got the cash for it rather than buy used? Because I'm going to reap several benefits just from warranties, it never being driven by somebody else, and all that.
And you're right, Jared. My husband and I, we were looking for a new car, and we even Kelly Blue booked our van. We bought a new van in 2019. We can sell it today for $2,000 more than what we paid for it in 2019. It's bizarre. So, in my opinion, I mean, if it's cheaper, but can you get the truck though? That's the thing.
You're not going to get that truck, dude.
It'll take 4 months.
It has a build date of April 18th.
Yeah, it has a build date, but you haven't talked to the dealer yet about how much they're going to mark it up above MSRP, because dealers are dumping on these MSRPs all over the place.
Just make sure you get solid numbers, though.
I don't want you to get in the habit of asking the wrong question.
Right.
And the wrong question is, how can I figure out a way to violate a proven system towards wealth and still be okay because I want a truck, And
okay.
So, no, seriously, this is a problem.
I don't know if I agree. I don't know. Hold on. Jared needs a new car. Jared sees a used car.
It's still the wrong question.
For 20. No, if I need a new car and one cost me $26,000 and a new one cost me $22,000, and I have a letter, which that may be all not real, whatever. We'll see. But to me, it's math. Like the reason the new car principle, it's math. Like back
so what happens
3 years
5
ago,
years from today? What happens 30 years from today to Jared if he keeps asking questions that he's trying to figure out a way to make everything okay that he wants to do?
I don't think he
is. I know, but this rationalization process that people use is what gets them in trouble.
Okay,
and
but
so here's a good idea.
It's just numbers.
Cars go down in value. Don't buy expensive cars when you're broke and 24 years old. Don't do it.
But expensive car, though, is by the number, though.
I understand. But there's a reason that for 30 years I've taught people not to buy new cars until they have $1 million net worth. There's a reason.
And the reason is...
because they go down in value like a rock. So do the used cars. And if you buy a 35... So my advice would be completely different. My advice would be, don't buy a car right now. It's a horrible time to buy a car.
Oh, no.
It's a horrible time to buy a car.
Answer C.
So
we didn't even go there.
And I've got the money to absorb the blow, and my net worth is considerably more than $1 million. But if I was getting ready to buy a car, it wouldn't be this year. I'm going to drive what I got and let this crap work its way out.
Okay, but what if, for people listening though, because I literally, one of my friends who her van died, they took it and they were like, it's basically total.
Well, if you don't have a car, you got to buy a car.
Yeah,
that's not what I'm talking about.
Okay.
I'm saying if you're just sitting here and you're going, I'd like to upgrade.
That's fair.
It's a crummy year to do that.
That's fair. Totally.
It's a horrible time to build a house.
Yes.
Right now.
Yes.
Because the materials and the subs and the GCs are nuts.
Totally. I know. But if Jared had to buy a car, though, what would you say, though?
If he was homeless, I'd tell him build a house. If he had to buy a car, I'd tell him buy a car.
And buy a new car or used car? You didn't answer it.
I really wouldn't.
Okay, it's a funny one to watch, and I still agree with me. Dave can just be so hard-headed sometimes, where he's like, I'm not moving on principle. And listen, I understand what he was saying as I was continued to watch the call because I kind of forgot about all the nuanced thought processes through it. And I think it is wise to always ask bigger questions, right? It is always wise to say, okay, am I trying to get out of this and escape something, something that's hard and kind of take the easy way out, which may burn me later, right? So you never want to take the easy way out, especially when it comes to money. I mean, anything that is kind of a get-rich-quick, easy path usually doesn't always sustain. It's usually the sacrifice, the harder path. That's usually the wiser path is what we find. So I understand Dad, Dave, pushing on that concept continually, especially with a 24-year-old guy who called in. I appreciate it. But still, at the end of the day, math is math, and we're going to buy the cheapest car, even though it happens to be a new car. But those days are long gone. That doesn't happen anymore where we sit today. But it's crazy to look back on clips like that. That was just like 2 years ago and think through like, oh my gosh, that is where our world was. It's so wild. So wild. So listen, you guys, personal finance, it is personal and it's very nuanced. And there are proven formulas out there that show, hey, here is how you can live life with your money that is wise, that is in control. And I think that's what's really important. And, understanding that life doesn't always go according to plan. And that is why talking through life challenges in real time, like we do on the Ramsey Show, is so helpful. And if you need help with your money, check out FPU. This is Financial Peace University, and it is our proven personal finance curriculum that has helped millions of people get out of debt, get in control of their money, and change their family tree. So make sure to check it out. I will leave a link down below to check out FPU, get signed up, and get some information you may not have today when it comes to money. And when it comes to money or family or work or all the above, a little healthy conflict never hurt anyone, Just make sure that you value relationships over disagreements. That is always true because people are going to have different perspectives, but your relationship is what is so important. So make sure to share this episode with a friend who loves a good, healthy debate. And for the record, Dave and I actually do agree on things, which is what we cover in my episode, How to Never Pay Full Price Again with Dave Ramsey. So make sure to check it out. And if you're listening on podcast, click the link below. All right, you guys, remember to take control of your money and create a life you love.